To our second half of our meeting. Mr. Matthew Miguel will walk us through the evaluation portion of the meeting.
Table topics?
Oh, the table topics.
Yeah.
What the heck is that? Oh yeah, that's that little section there. Martin wants more airtime apparently, so he will get some. Please welcome Martin.
Okay, we have a little bit of time, so I'm going to shoot some cool questions out. A common topic for science fiction writing is the notion of robotics and the slow march towards increasing automation of our lives. In the extreme or extremely interesting case of a robot uprising, like in The Matrix, who would win? And if humanity won, how would we cope with technology in this post-uprising future? Matt.
Alright, so although your question is about robotics, I think the deciding factor really is artificial intelligence. So robotics is kind of like having a body, but artificial intelligence is the mind that goes along with that body. If you have a body without a mind, you're not going to be very effective at combating humans. Oh, it's a weird thing to talk about. Anyways, I think that if such a situation were ever to arise, I think we would probably be in a lot of trouble. The thing that is a great advantage for a machine in this hypothetical science fiction situation is that it can actually extend its own capabilities, whereas for humans, I can't just say, oh, I need more memory in my head, I need more ability to more strength. I can't just go and put more brains in my head and get smarter. Whereas, presumably, in an artificial intelligence case, they would be able to do that. So I think that they would win. I don't know if we would ever actually come to that sort of situation. I think there's been a lot of movies about artificial intelligence, and people are actually kind of scared about it. So I think if that were ever to become more of a reality, people would take maybe legal precautions and saying, oh, these types of things are only allowed to have this influence of power. They can't, go out on the internet and spread themselves. Although, who knows what could happen. Your second part of your question was, if we won, how would humans be able to cope without their technology? And I think we would be able to cope just fine. I think, as Alex was saying, it seems like a great need for us to have all this technology around us, but if you just are separated from it for even a little bit of time, you'll eventually be able to see, oh, I don't really actually need this, So, thank you.
Great answer. Another common theme for science fiction is the idea of time travel, going all the way back to H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. If you had the ability to travel back in time to any point in our history for one day, when and where would you go and why? Helen.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master. I guess one period of time I might like to go back in U.S. history is the time when U.S. got their independence, around the time of the Declaration of Independence. There was a lot of turmoil going around the country. There was the Boston Tea Party. The country was trying to separate itself from Great Britain and its rule. And I think that's a very important time in history because that was beginning of the birth of America. A lot of those leaders were great leaders at the time. They put our founding fathers put a lot of thought in writing the Declaration of Independence, and there was just so much happening at that time, and I think it would have been exciting to see all the different events that were going on and all the people coming together to work towards one goal so that the United States of America, the country, and all what it stood for, the value system the country stood for, it was all happening and being born at that time. So I would like to go back to that time period just to see how everything happened. Mr. Table Topic Master.
In the movie Contact, we receive a message from outer space that contains the signs of intelligence and provides a single human a way of communicating with extraterrestrial beings. If you were that person, what would be some of the questions that you would ask another intelligent race? Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So if I had the ability to talk to aliens, what would I ask them? You know, there's really no questions that I am particularly interested in for other alien beings because we already have enough excitement in our own world. There's so many things that in my lifetime I won't be able to see at home. Thinking about another universe or another being would just blow my mind. It's like they don't breathe air, possibly. They don't drink water. What they do for fun may be just closing their eyes and communicating telepathically. But then when they explain to me, I won't have any idea what they're talking about. So then it may not be as interesting to me. I might just find it weird or strange. Whereas at least if I go around to another country in the world, at least we're all humans. So there's some kind of natural connection there. I mean, I guess talking to aliens in my head is as if I would be able to talk to a lizard and ask him how his life is. And, you know, like, how's it like being green? What's it like being cold-blooded? It's cool, but personally, I don't care. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Okay. In the TV show Quantum Leap, the protagonist was able to travel between different people's bodies and sort of live from their perspective in their bodies and their minds. If you had this ability, or if you were forced to live in someone's body at a certain point in history for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? Monica.
I would go back to the 1935, 40s, and I would be Lady Sings the Blues. I don't like the drug part of her life and the chaotic part of her life, but I love the entertainment part of her life. I would be on all the major stages. I would be performing. I would be singing. I would be making people happy. I'd have this huge auditorium with dancers behind me. I'd have the big band in the back of me. I'd have on these elegant ballroom gowns, and my hair would be to the nines, my makeup just perfect, and I would just be enjoying myself, just watching the audience, enjoying me perform. And then I would be going to the bank every Monday, collecting all this money from all these people paying to hear me. I would think it would be awesome. And I would also have this very good-looking guy who was my manager slash boyfriend that she did. Very handsome, very tall, wore the hats, always suited and booted. And everywhere we went, we'd be in a limo, we'd be treated like we were royalty. I would just love that. If I had to be born again in another lifetime or even creep into somebody else's body, it would have to be an entertainer of some kind because I love music. Music is wonderful. Music is soothing. Music makes everybody happy. You can have the worst day and your favorite song comes on. You forget about your problems. You're just happy. You're singing. I see people coming to work during that. I know they're not that happy about coming to work. And they're singing and they're clapping and they're popping their fingers and they're just waving. I'm like, yeah, that favorite song is on while they're on their way to work. So music. Thank you.
Thank you. I have about 10 more questions, but we won't have time for any of that. So I'd like to invite back our Toastmaster of the day, Bruno.
Thank you, Martin. So I'm glad we got to that section, because that was very entertaining. And now, for real, I'd like to invite up Mr. Matt Miguel.
Thank you. So in